Hello YouTube, and quite simply, welcome to the beast. The KTM 1290 Super Duke R. Wow. You know, when a manufacturer nicknames their motorcycle the Beast, there's going to be something pretty special about the bike. And they're coming in with full-on intention. This is 180 brake horsepower and 140 newton meters of torque. That's almost, you know, that is rivaling Harley Davidson levels of torque, and almost twice as much brake horsepower than big Harleys. So this is a powerful motorbike. Before we start, I'd like to say a massive thank you to Blade Motorcycles. I'll pop their link in the description for, again, lending me a top-of-the-range motorcycle to test ride and demo for you guys today. What we'll do is jump on and just do some first initial bare bones, my first impressions of said beast. Now, to be completely honest, I have actually ridden this from the dealership, only about 5 minutes up to here. And yeah, it is really, really nice. I'm such a big fan of the KTM V-twins, and in this, guys, it's a lovely motorbike. Anyway, let's start her up. Oh! Woo! There she is. Well, the first thing, actually, boring start. The turning circle is incredibly big, so it's not that practical for quick U-turns if that's what you're planning on doing, but that's not what she was designed for, so let's not worry about that. That engine, as soon as you turn it on, is big. You can feel it thumping away. It's actually slightly reminiscent, it's going to sound weird, but to like a Harley, a big V-twin, which it is a big V-twin. It's 1301cc. Before we get going, I've already been through this actually, but my GoPro ran out of battery and everything went horribly wrong, so I'm redoing it, so excuse me if I'm speaking quickly. I love the KTM TFT dash and screen and rider modes, etc. If we go across to the rider modes, what I've been highly advised is to start in rain mode and then work your way up and then go to street and then go to sport. Reason being, they were saying at Blade, such a big difference between the modes. It's really good to get to know the different modes and realise how adaptable this machine is. Let's hit the road and start going. In rain mode, you get 130 brake horsepower, which is by no means a little amount of power. Now, when you change it up to street and sport mode, you get the full 180 bhp. But what it does between street and sport is change the throttle mapping, so it's different mapping, so there's a noticeable difference basically. And yeah, we're going to test that out. So we're in rain mode now. And it's still very nice, but actually not mental. You know, you're getting 130 brake, which is a lot, but it's not going to blow your socks off, which is actually quite nice, because if I'm being honest, I think I'm just your average rider. I'm not a mega MotoGP racer. I've actually never done a track day. I'm just a road rider. It's really a super bike, this. Superbike power, it's a super naked. And I'm just riding it from my perspective, really, just from your average road rider. I'm not pretending to be or trying to be a super quick rider. Yeah, the rain mode, it's nice to have that option, so it's not too intimidating. So if we just go over a few what this bike is, this is the standard model, which it doesn't come with a quick shifter. It's got only the 3 riding modes, and it doesn't have active, semi-active suspension like the Super Duke R Evo model. So this really is your entry model, but that is not to say that she's still a beast. It's still exactly the same motor and amount of power, so it's still having plenty of fun with it. But she's retailing at £16,349. Now, if you want to, you can spec the tech pack, which I can say I definitely would. It's just over £1,000. and it gives you the quick shifter, anti-wheelie, and a few other bits and bobs, which I think will be really, really useful to have. I love a quick shifter, and on a bike like this, a quick shifter would just be, it's a no-brainer for me. And another big one is the anti-wheelie. When they said at the dealership there's no anti-wheelie on this bike, I was like, took a bit of a sharp breath, because yeah, it's a lot of power. And it's quite nice to have that safety net of an anti-wheelie there if you start getting carried away. Before you know it, you're looking at the stars. Yeah, and the Evo model has that semi-active suspension. Other than that, they're exactly the same. Right, so we're still in rain mode, guys. Let's see how she does on an overtake. I've got a feeling it's going to be alright. Yeah. Right, guys, so just before I pop it into street mode and we take it up a level to that full 180 brake horsepower, we'll just go over a few specs. Just briefly, up front you've got WP Apex suspension, 48mm diameter with 125mm of travel. Okay, on the rear you've also got suspension-wise WP Apex monoshock with 140mm of travel. Okay guys, so on to the brakes, which I can confirm are really nice feeling. Up front you've got two 320mm Brembo Stylema 3-piston radially mounted calipers. And on the rear for the brakes you have a single 240mm Brembo twin-piston fixed caliper. Excuse the music in the background if you can hear it. I'm actually at like a water park in the Cotswolds. Super fun place. Good place to review a KTM. The seat height. I'm 5'9" and I can flat foot it fairly comfortably, but not with too much of a bend in my knee. And the seat height is 835mm, which I think for a naked motorcycle is not massively high, but it's on the higher side, and it makes the riding position, I was saying earlier, very, very comfortable, nice and high up. You've sort of got a good view over traffic ahead, and the handlebars are very nicely sort of nice and wide, and you're not too far leant over, so it's a bonus, a real benefit on this bike, the seat height. Okay, so what's the beast weighing in at? Well, I would say the name belies its weight. It's not so much of a beast when it comes to the weight. It's 189 kilograms, and once fueled up with fuel on board, it's about 200 kg. So it's not too heavy. It's not a heavy bike. It's not. I've ridden the 790 a few years ago now. Well, quite a few years ago, and that really does feel light and very nimble. You can feel the weight in the bigger engine, 1301cc V-twin. You can feel that extra weight there, but yeah, it still feels very nimble and planted on the road. We'll go out now, pop it into street and then up into sport, and go over how all of that feels together, what the handling's like on this bike, because yeah, it's good. Alright, so coming out of the wonderful Cotswolds water park here. Oh, it'd be nice to go for a dip in there today. Oh, I love that V-twin. It's a great bike, this. It's such a good, the KTM's V-twins. It's like a sort of smooth, throbbing V-twin, if that makes sense. Right, let's go flick through this dash mode, which I hope you can see that on the GoPro. It's very easy and quite a pleasurable experience to flick through it. Pop it in street mode. There we go. And then just press back. Back to screen. And I don't know what you think about this screen with it in orange. You can configure that. You can change it to, I think, white or black as well. But I think that's really cool in orange. It looks really good. So we're in street mode now. We got the full 180 brake horsepower. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so immediately, I keep on saying this, you don't need to be afraid of these bikes. It only goes as fast as your handle twists the throttle, you know? But, yeah, when it's in street, you can immediately feel when you do open that throttle, it's a lot quicker. Yeah, pretty manic actually. usable, even in street. Seriously, like I was saying earlier, I'm not a sports rider, I'm not a MotoGP rider or anything, and you can still have fun with it. It's not too much. You do need to be, keep your wits about you. The suspension's really good. Suspension soaks up those bumps really nicely. It actually sounds funny, but very reminiscent to the Super Adventure. Just skips along those bumps really nicely. Let's move her across now into Sport. So she's in Sport there. If you go for the Tech Pack or even the new Evo model, you get a variety of riding modes. Here we're in Sport, and you've still got the full 180 brake horsepower with a different mapping, so it's going to be more immediate. And yeah, I'm gonna take it a little bit easy to start off with, because this is full beast mode. She barks. It's a lot quicker on the throttle response. It's quite sharp actually on that throttle. But you know what? Having just opened it up a bit there, it's incredibly fast and manic, but it's not hard, if that makes sense. The immediate throttle response is quite intense, but it's usable. I mean, because it's a twin, if we're comparing it to, I rode the Speed Triple 1200 RR Triumph the other day, the power on this is like immediate. It's right there, you've got the torque lower down. So I would argue that this is more fun. And actually, I'd say in Sport as well, there's vibes coming through the seat. It's quite vibey, not really bad, but there are some quicker vibes coming through the seat. Feels like the engine's is firing quicker. So if we come on to the handling, like I was saying earlier, the turning circle is not very good. But actually the handling, once it's set in corners, it's really confidence inspiring. It feels like you can just really dig it into a corner. It feels like that front wheel's not far, but oh, it's a effing weapon. It's a weapon. God, sorry. Yeah, it's an absolute beast. The handling though is, yeah, you can really dig it in. It feels like that wheel's a little bit further out, if you know what I mean. I'm sure some of you knowledgeable motorcyclists out there can say, but it's the dimensions of the wheelbase. I mean, we're on the dual carriageway now, but when you're on the twisties, it really feels like you can dig it into a corner. Very, very confidence inspiring. One point to make actually on the dual carriageway, just these quicker roads, it feels like the front end is sort of skipping around, not skipping around, that's the wrong term, but you're sort of being blown around a bit on the front end. It's quite lively up there. It almost feels like going in a straight line fast. It's not mega stable, but it compensates for that in the corners. Once you got it in a corner, it feels really, really planted. It's a very windy day today, but yeah, just sort of, it's a jittery front end. Also at these motorway speeds, dual carriageway, motorway, you're best off popping it in cruise control, because you're going to end up going too fast if you don't. There's something to be said for these mega super naked sports bikes for touring, you know. It's just so fast, there's so much power there, it's very comfortable at these motorway speeds. And then when you rev it on, it's just it's just a massive V-twin. It's a beast. Overall conclusions as we're heading back into Swindon, back to Blade Motorcycles, giving her back to her rightful owner. I rode, I've popped it back in street mode now just to calm down a bit, which is quite a nice option to do. When you've got it in sport, it's you just want to go a bit mental, to be honest. It's great fun, but coming into town, yeah, street's a bit better. I rode the Triumph Speed Triple RR, so not the naked version, slightly more sport orientated riding position anyway, same engine as the RS. And I've got to say, I I love that bike, absolutely love the look of the Triumph, the Speed Triple Double R. I think it's gorgeous. I prefer this bike, I prefer the Super Duke R. I'm yet to ride the Ducati V4S Street Fighter or the Tuono, is that how you pronounce it? Terrible pronunciation. V4, the factory version. I'm yet to ride those, so I can't say which is the best Super Naked yet, but so far I think, well, I mean, look, this is the only actual Super Naked I've ridden, so of course it's going to be the best, but I think I would prefer this than the Triumph, if I'm being honest, the Speed Triple. I think I do. I think the engine's funner. It still feels premium. I often find with twins, because of the vibes, or not the clattering, but the vibes you get from V-twins, often I can find there's a lack of quality feel there, but as KTM just do it so well. They've almost got long throws on it. The firing of the pistons, I know it's not right, but it feels really quality, like heavy thrums, throbs of the pistons firing, which feels really nice. It feels really quality, and I think this motorbike's yeah, the handling has really stood out to me today riding this bike. With a name like the Beast, and me not being a sports bike rider, it sort of put me off. But actually, and they're completely right at Blade, completely right, a good point. And so good to have started in rain mode and then moved up to street and then to sport, because it shows the different dynamics this bike can have, the variety of riding modes. If in rain it was lovely. If I had started off straight in sport, then yeah, I would have been intimidated, and I think I wouldn't have liked this bike as much. But now I know there's the option, you can wind it down to rain mode. That's a real winner, because you can buy this bike and you've basically got a race bike, but then if you put it in rain mode, or even street I'm in now, it does calm it down a fair bit. Thank you for that, Blade. Good suggestion. Overall conclusion, the KTM 1290 Super Duke R is confirmed. It is a beast. I really like it, actually. This has opened my world into wanting to test ride the other Super Nakeds to see how they compare. Yeah, great bike, guys. If you're in the market for it, or even if you're not, it's always worth riding these styles of bikes just to get a feel for everything. You know, you never know, you might love it, you might not. I recommend giving it a try though. It's a very capable machine. The looks personally were not for me. Even that could just put me off riding it, but it is worth taking them for a ride. They are accessible to your normal human being. So not just a GP rider. Anyway, many thank you for watching, guys. I hope you liked the video. Don't forget to subscribe if you like the vid. And if you'd like a chance to support RedAng, the RedAng Revival channel, for reviewing motorbikes and also tours, and I like to raise awareness for mental health as well. You can, I'm on Patreon, so you can head there and you can have a chance to support me there, so I can continue making these videos for you. But yeah, thank you very much for watching again, and I shall see you in the next vid. Ciao Bella.